The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of jasmine and secrets. It was a night like no other, where the very atmosphere seemed to whisper tales of old, of love lost and found, of dreams that had taken flight and those that had crashed and burned. The scent of jasmine was intoxicating, wrapping around the city like a lover's embrace, promising both mystery and magic. Neon signs pulsed, casting an eerie glow on the cobblestone streets. The lights flickered, reflecting off the wet stones, creating a dance of colors that seemed almost alive. Each sign told a story of its own, from the vibrant blues and reds of the bars to the soft, inviting yellows of the cafes. The streets were alive with the hum of the city, a symphony of sounds that blended together to create the unique heartbeat of New Orleans. Laughter spilled from dimly lit bars, mingling with the soulful wail of a saxophone. The music was a siren's call, drawing people in, promising a night of revelry and escape. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and the scent of bourbon, the perfect backdrop for the stories that unfolded within. The saxophone's notes were like a lover's whisper, full of longing and desire, weaving through the laughter and chatter, creating a tapestry of sound that was both haunting and beautiful. This was Bourbon Street, the beating heart of New Orleans, where every night was a story waiting to unfold. The street was a living, breathing entity, full of life and energy. People from all walks of life converged here, their paths crossing in a dance of fate and chance. The vibrant nightlife was a testament to the city's spirit, a celebration of life in all its messy, beautiful glory. Here, the past and present collided, creating a space where anything was possible. And tonight, a story was about to begin, a melody of love, loss, and redemption, played out against the backdrop of this vibrant, unpredictable city. The city itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the first notes of this new tale to be played. It was a story that would be written in the stars, in the very fabric of the city, a story that would leave its mark on all who were a part of it. The air was electric with anticipation, the promise of something extraordinary just around the corner. Among the throngs of tourists and locals, two souls were about to collide, their destinies intertwined in a way neither could have imagined. The streets were crowded, a sea of faces and voices, but somehow, amidst the chaos, these two would find each other. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring them together, setting the stage for a meeting that would change their lives forever. Their paths had been leading to this moment, a moment that would be both ordinary and extraordinary. There was Daniel "Danny" LeBlanc, a detective with the New Orleans Police Department, his heart heavy with the weight of the city's darkness. Danny was a man who had seen too much, his eyes reflecting the pain and suffering he had witnessed. He walked the streets with a purpose, his mind always on the next case, the next mystery to solve. But beneath the tough exterior was a man who longed for something more, something that would give his life meaning beyond the badge. Danny had seen too much pain, too much corruption, and it had left him world-weary, his spirit hardened like the concrete jungle he patrolled. He had become a part of the city's fabric, a silent guardian who watched over its streets. But the weight of his experiences had taken its toll, leaving him with a sense of emptiness that he couldn't shake. He was a man on the edge, searching for a way to find his way back to the light. Then there was Gabrielle L. Moreau, a vision in scarlet silk, her voice a beacon of hope amidst the city's shadows. Elle was a woman who had faced her own share of struggles, but she had emerged stronger, her spirit unbroken. She was a force of nature, her presence commanding attention wherever she went. Her voice was her weapon, a tool she used to bring light to the darkest corners of the city. She was a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, hope could still shine through. Elle possessed a voice that could hush the rowdiest crowd, a voice that spoke of love and longing, of dreams both shattered and yet to be realized. Her performances were more than just songs, they were stories, each note a chapter in the tale of her life. She sang with a passion that was palpable, her voice carrying the weight of her experiences. The audience was captivated, drawn into her world, feeling every emotion as if it were their own. She had a gift, a rare ability to connect with people on a deep emotional level. She poured her heart into every song, her spirit as bright and resilient as the city she called home. Elle's music was a reflection of her journey, a testament to her strength and determination. She had faced many challenges, but she had never given up, always finding a way to rise above. Her songs were a celebration of life, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there was always a reason to keep going. She was a beacon of hope, a light that shone brightly in the city's shadows. Little did they know, their paths were about to intersect, their lives forever changed by a chance encounter at a place called the Blue Angel, a dimly lit jazz club where the music flowed as freely as the whiskey. The Blue Angel was a place of magic, a haven for those seeking solace in the music. It was a place where dreams were born and hearts were healed, where the past and present came together in a symphony of sound. Danny and Elle's meeting was no accident. It was fate, a moment that would set the stage for a story that would be written in the stars. Their journey was just beginning, a journey that would take them through the highs and lows of life, a journey that would test their strength and resilience, but ultimately, a journey that would lead them to each other. Danny found himself drawn to the Blue Angel, seeking solace from the city's oppressive heat and the ghosts that haunted his every waking moment. The smoky haze inside did little to obscure the beauty of the woman on stage. Bathed in the soft glow of a single spotlight, Elle held the room captive. Her voice, a haunting blend of smoke and honey, wrapped around him like a warm embrace. He couldn't tear his gaze away. Her eyes, the color of aged whiskey, spoke of a depth of experience that belied her youthful beauty. She sang of heartbreak and hope, her voice a balm to his weary soul. In that moment, the weight of the badge he wore, the darkness he carried within him, seemed to lighten. Elle felt his gaze, the intensity of it sending a shiver down her spine. Her voice didn't falter, but a spark ignited within her, a flicker of recognition that transcended the crowded room. When the set ended, her eyes met his across the smoky haze, and a silent promise hung in the air between them. Their first encounter was brief, a fleeting moment in the tapestry of their lives. Yet it left an undeniable mark, a feeling that their destinies were now irrevocably intertwined. The music faded, the crowd thinned, but the memory of their connection lingered, a promise whispered on the humid New Orleans night. Days turned into weeks, and Danny found himself drawn back to the Blue Angel, captivated by Elle's voice and the unspoken connection they shared. He learned her name, her love for the city that mirrored his own, and the dreams she held close to her heart. He found himself sharing his own stories, the weight of his job, the shadows he carried from cases gone cold. One night, the fragile peace of their burgeoning relationship was shattered. A prominent businessman, a man with ties to organized crime, was found murdered in his own home. The case landed on Danny's desk, a tangled web of secrets and lies he was tasked with unraveling. Unbeknownst to Danny, the case hit closer to home than he could have imagined. The victim, Anthony Delacroix, had been a regular at the Blue Angel, his eyes often lingering on Elle with a possessiveness that made her skin crawl. She had brushed off his advances, unaware of the danger lurking beneath his charming facade. As Danny delved deeper into the investigation, he uncovered a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of power in New Orleans. The deeper he dug, the more he realized that Elle was somehow caught in the crosshairs, her life intertwined with the victims in ways he was yet to comprehend. The investigation became an obsession, consuming Danny's every waking moment. He chased down leads, interrogated suspects, each dead end fueling his determination to find the truth. The lines between his personal and professional life blurred as he found himself confiding in Elle, seeking solace in her strength and unwavering spirit. Their late-night talks at the Blue Angel turned into walks along the moonlit banks of the Mississippi, their hands brushing, a silent acknowledgement of the growing bond between them. He saw a strength in her, a resilience forged in the fires of her own past heartaches that mirrored his own. But the closer they grew, the more danger seemed to follow. Threats against Elle escalated, whispers in the night, shadows lurking at the edge of her vision. Danny vowed to protect her, his heart heavy with the knowledge that the killer he hunted moved amongst them, hidden in plain sight. The investigation took a devastating turn when Danny uncovered evidence that pointed to someone he trusted, someone he considered family, his own partner, Detective Remy Boudreau. Remy, a seasoned detective with a jaded view of the world, had been his mentor, his confidant. The revelation struck Danny like a physical blow, leaving him reeling in disbelief and a profound sense of betrayal. Confronting Remy was one of the hardest things Danny had ever had to do. The air crackled with tension as accusations were hurled like weapons, the bond of their shared history shattering into a million pieces. Remy, his face a mask of cold fury, denied everything, but Danny saw the guilt in his eyes, the fear that mirrored his own. The weight of Remy's betrayal settled over Danny like a shroud. He felt adrift, his world turned upside down. The one person he thought he could trust, the one constant in his life, had shattered that trust in the worst way possible. The knowledge gnawed at him, fueling his determination to bring Remy to justice, no matter the cost. New York City, a concrete jungle teeming with dreams, a symphony of human ambition, echoing through towering skyscrapers. Among millions seeking their own spotlight, two souls were about to find their paths intertwined. Emma, a painter with a poet's heart, poured her emotions onto canvases with vibrant hues. She saw beauty in the mundane, stories in the cracks of sidewalks. Jack, a musician chasing melodies as fleeting as the city's moods, poured his soul into soulful tunes. His music, a reflection of the city's rhythm, resonated with every heartbreak and triumph. Emma sought solace in art, escaping the confines of her small Brooklyn apartment. Jack, a nomad at heart, found comfort in melodies that flowed like the Hudson River. They were two solitary souls, their paths destined to converge in the city that never sleeps. One fateful evening, as the sun cast long shadows across Central Park, their worlds collided. She was drawn to his music, a melody that seemed to speak to her soul. He, captivated by the raw emotion in her art, felt an inexplicable pull. Their eyes met across the crowded park, a spark of recognition in the chaos. It was the beginning of their story, a love story set against the backdrop of a city that thrived on dreams and desires. They were artists, dreamers, drawn together by an invisible thread of fate. In the city that never sleeps, their journey of love was about to begin. Drawn together by an unspoken connection, Emma and Jack found themselves talking late into the night. They spoke of dreams, aspirations, and the city that both challenged and embraced them. He was captivated by her passion, the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about art. She was enchanted by his music, each note resonating with the unsaid emotions within her. They were two souls recognizing a kindred spirit, a shared language that transcended words. He saw the world in melodies, she in colors. Together they created a masterpiece of shared dreams. They spent their days exploring hidden cafes, their nights lost in conversation and laughter. He would play his guitar while she sketched, their creative energies feeding off each other. Their connection deepened with each passing day, the line between friendship and love beautifully blurred. He found solace in her quiet strength, she in his unwavering optimism. They were each other's muse, inspiring and pushing each other to reach deeper within their art. He saw the world in her eyes, the pain and the beauty, reflected in 1,000 hues. She heard the rhythm of his heart in his music, a symphony of emotions that echoed her own. Their love story was a painting coming to life, each shared moment a brushstroke of fate. They were falling in love with the city as the backdrop, their hearts entwined with every stolen glance and whispered secret. In the heart of the concrete jungle, they had found their oasis in each other. Their love story unfolded like a melody, soft and tentative at first, then swelling into a crescendo of passion. They walked hand in hand through the bustling city streets, their love a quiet rebellion against the urban indifference. He would compose songs inspired by her laughter, each note a testament to the joy she brought into his life. She, in turn, filled her canvases with the colors of their love, capturing the tenderness in his eyes and the warmth of his embrace. They found solace in each other's arms, a sanctuary from the relentless pace of city life. Weekends were spent exploring art galleries and attending underground music gigs, their shared passion fueling their love. They were each other's biggest cheerleaders, celebrating every milestone and offering comfort during moments of self-doubt. He believed in her talent even when she struggled to see it herself, urging her to share her art with the world. She saw the genius in his music, pushing him to pursue his dreams relentlessly. They were two halves of a whole, their individual dreams merging into a shared vision of the future. Their love was a testament to the power of shared passions, a symphony played out on the grand stage of New York City. He found his anchor in her unwavering belief, she her wings in his unwavering support. Their love story was a beacon of hope amidst the city's chaos, a reminder that even in the most unexpected of places, love could bloom. They were living proof that sometimes the most beautiful melodies are born from the dissonance of life. But even the brightest love stories have their shadows. Theirs was no exception. The demands of their dreams began to cast long shadows on their shared canvas, creating fissures that neither had anticipated. He craved the stage, the roar of the crowd, the validation of his music reaching a wider audience. The energy of the crowd was intoxicating, a drug he couldn't resist. Each cheer, each applause, was a step closer to the dream he had nurtured since childhood. She, though yearning for recognition, found solace in the quiet intimacy of her art, hesitant to expose her soul to the harsh glare of the art world. Her studio was her sanctuary, a place where she could lose herself in the strokes of her brush, where time seemed to stand still. His career began to take off, his music catching the attention of a renowned producer. The accolades started pouring in, and with each award his confidence soared. He was on the brink of something monumental, a breakthrough that could change everything. The city that had brought them together now threatened to pull them apart. Its vastness, once a playground for their dreams, now felt like an insurmountable chasm. The very streets that had witnessed their love story now seemed to conspire against them. He was offered a recording contract, a chance to chase his dreams across continents. The opportunity was a golden ticket, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to make his mark on the world stage. But it came with a price. She wrestled with her own aspirations, the fear of rejection a heavy weight on her heart. The art world was unforgiving, and the thought of bearing her soul only to be met with indifference was paralyzing. She questioned her worth, her talent, and whether she was ready to face the world. The distance between them, once bridged by shared dreams, now stretched wider with every passing day. Their conversations grew shorter, their silences longer. The canvas they once painted together now seemed to have an invisible line dividing it. He was torn between his love for her and the allure of his lifelong ambition. The decision weighed heavily on him, a constant tug-of-war between his heart and his dreams. He feared that choosing one would mean losing the other. She, afraid of holding him back, retreated further into herself, seeking refuge in the solitude of her art. Her studio became her fortress, a place where she could hide from the world and her own insecurities. She painted with a fervor, as if trying to fill the void that was growing between them. The once vibrant colors of their shared dreams seemed to fade, replaced by muted tones of doubt and unspoken fears. The canvas that had once been a testament to their love now seemed to reflect their growing uncertainties. The city that had once echoed with their laughter now seemed to amplify the growing silence between them. The nights grew colder, the streets lonelier, as if the city itself was mourning the distance that had crept into their relationship. The fear of losing himself in her shadow, of sacrificing his dreams for love, gnawed at him. He spent hours in contemplation, weighing his options, trying to find a way to balance his love for her with his ambition. But the answers eluded him. The fear of being left behind, of watching him soar while she remained earthbound, consumed her. She looked to the sky, searching for signs, for answers, for a way to bridge the growing gap between them. But all she found was the vastness of the unknown. They were standing at a crossroads, the path ahead shrouded in uncertainty, their once unbreakable bond beginning to fray at the edges. The choices they faced were daunting, each path fraught with its own set of challenges and sacrifices. They knew that whatever decision they made, it would change the course of their lives forever. Their hands, once tightly intertwined, now seemed to struggle to hold on. The warmth of their touch was replaced by a cold, unfamiliar distance. They both knew that something had to give, but neither was ready to let go completely. Memories of their happiest moments together played like a montage in their minds. The laughter, the shared dreams, the promises whispered in the dark, all seemed like distant echoes of a time when everything was simpler, when love was enough to conquer all. They looked at each other, tears welling up in their eyes, each silently pleading for the other to understand. The love was still there, buried beneath the layers of doubt and fear, but it was struggling to find its way to the surface. As the first light of dawn broke over the city, it brought with it a glimmer of hope. They realized that their love story was far from over. The cracks in their shared canvas were not the end, but rather a new beginning, a chance to rebuild and rediscover the love that had brought them together in the first place. With renewed determination, they decided to face the future together, hand in hand. They knew it wouldn't be easy, that there would be more challenges ahead, but they were ready to fight for their love, to mend the cracks and paint a new masterpiece on their shared canvas. The city throbbed with life, a symphony of noise and light. People rushed by, lost in their own worlds. Among them, Sarah felt invisible, just another face in the crowd.
I missed his laughter, his touch, the way he looked at me like I was the only star in his sky. 5 years had passed since our painful breakup. 5 years since I'd walked away from the man I thought I'd spend my life with.
She wandered aimlessly, drawn to the park where they used to meet. The old oak tree, their spot, stood sentinel, its branches reaching towards the heavens. Memories, bittersweet and poignant, flooded her mind.
As dusk settled, casting long shadows across the park, I noticed a figure sitting on our bench. My heart skipped a beat. Even from a distance, I recognized the broad shoulders, the way he held his head, the familiar tilt of his chin. As I walked towards Liam, a flicker of hope ignited within me, a hope that maybe, just maybe, love could indeed bloom again, stronger and more beautiful after the storm.
She had changed, matured, a touch of melancholy in her eyes, yet she was even more beautiful than he remembered. He remembered the instant connection, the way their conversations flowed effortlessly, the shared dreams and aspirations. S1. Sarah. Here, after all this time. I watched as she walked towards me, her every step a drumbeat against my suddenly racing heart.
I recalled the day I knew I was in love with her, the way her happiness became my own, her tears mine to chase away. But our love story wasn't all sunshine and roses.
Seeing her now, standing before him, brought back a flood of emotions, regret, longing, and a glimmer of the love he thought he had lost forever. Their eyes met, a silent conversation passing between them, acknowledging the past, the pain, the unspoken words. In that moment, amidst the familiar backdrop of their park, a spark ignited, a flicker of hope in the ashes of their past. Their reunion was awkward at first, filled with hesitant smiles and stilted conversations. Yet as they talked, the years seemed to melt away. They reminisced about old times, shared laughter over inside jokes.
I've become a successful architect, my buildings reflecting my creativity.
And I've stayed true to my passion, now a writer, my words weaving magic.
They fell into their old rhythm easily, their conversations flowing effortlessly. As they spent more time together, those dreams resurfaced, whispering possibilities. With each shared moment, their love story began to write itself anew. Despite the rekindled flame, doubts lingered like shadows in the corners of their minds.
I can't shake the feeling that I'm unworthy, that I squandered my chance at happiness with Sarah. The memory of her tear-stained face as she walked away from me haunts my dreams, a constant reminder of my failure.
He noticed her hesitation, the way her smile sometimes faltered, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes.
One evening, as we walked hand in hand along the moonlit beach, I confessed my fears. I spoke of my regret, my fear of hurting her again, my desperate hope that this time, things would be different.
Liam, we both made mistakes. We were young and we let fear dictate our actions. But we've grown, learned, and I believe we can overcome anything as long as we face it together.
Her words, spoken with such conviction and love, chipped away at the wall around his heart. Life, as it often does, threw them a curveball.
My father, my rock, the man who has always been my biggest supporter, has fallen ill.
The news hit them like a physical blow, fear and uncertainty clouding their world.
I know I can't erase your pain, but I can be your pillar of strength, offering unwavering support and a shoulder to cry on.
He accompanied her on hospital visits, his presence a silent promise that he wouldn't let her face this alone.
Thank you for being here for me, for us.
In that moment, Jason knew that their love wasn't just about shared dreams and stolen kisses. It was about facing life's storms together, about being each other's anchor in the face of adversity. Her father's passing left a void in their lives, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Years passed, filled with both joy and sorrow. They celebrated milestones, Sarah's literary successes, Jason's architectural triumphs. They traveled the world, creating memories in beautiful landscapes. Yet life's complexities tested their bond. Career demands and personal life stressors took a toll.
I've been pouring myself into my work.
I've been lost in the world of words.
The distance between them grew, love fading.
I've realized how much we have changed. He knew he had to fight for her, for them.
The fight that erupted that night was inevitable, a culmination of years of unspoken frustrations and unmet needs. When the storm finally passed, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake, they were both left emotionally drained, their hearts heavy with a sense of loss and regret. In the aftermath of their fight, they made the difficult decision to take a break, to step back from the precipice and reassess their relationship. They moved into separate apartments, their once shared space now echoing with emptiness.
I found myself drawn back to our park, the place where our love story had begun.
As he sat beneath the familiar oak tree, its branches rustling softly in the breeze, he was flooded with memories. Their first kiss, their shared laughter, the countless moments of joy and sorrow they had weathered together.
I realized that somewhere along the way I had lost sight of what truly mattered. He had taken their love for granted, assuming it would always be there, a constant in a world of change.
One rainy afternoon, as Liam wandered aimlessly through the city, he stumbled upon a familiar bookstore. It was the same bookstore where he and Sarah had spent countless hours browsing through shelves, their fingers brushing as they reached for the same book.
He stepped inside, the scent of old paper and leather filling him with a bittersweet nostalgia. As he turned a corner, he saw her, Sarah. She was standing by the window, her back to him, her shoulders slumped as she read a book.
His heart ached at the sight of her, her usually vibrant aura now dimmed with sadness.
He cleared his throat softly and she turned, her eyes widening in surprise as she recognized him. "Sarah, can we talk?"
She hesitated for a moment, then nodded slowly, closing her book and setting it on a nearby table.
Their conversation was hesitant at first, filled with apologies and explanations, each word carefully chosen. Liam spoke from the heart, acknowledging his mistakes and his fear of vulnerability.
He told her how much he regretted letting her go, how her absence had left a gaping hole in his life.
Sarah listened intently, her heart softening as she heard the pain and regret in his voice. As they talked, the barriers between them crumbled, replaced by a newfound understanding. The spark between them, once dimmed by neglect, rekindled with a fierceness that surprised them both. Life continued, a tapestry woven with both joys and sorrows. They faced new challenges, weathered personal storms, and celebrated triumphs, big and small.
He finally let go of his need for control, learning to trust Sarah implicitly and appreciate her strength and independence.
She, in turn, learned to communicate her needs more effectively, to express her vulnerabilities without fear of judgment.
They became each other's safe haven, a place where they could be their true selves without pretense or reservation. They created a life together filled with laughter, adventure, and a shared passion for making a difference in the world.
One warm summer evening, as they strolled hand in hand through their beloved park, Liam stopped by their oak tree, the place where their love story had begun. "Sarah, I love you more than words can express. Thank you for taking a chance on us, for showing me the true meaning of love, for being my everything."
And I love you, Liam, always and forever.
As they embraced, the setting sun casting a warm glow on their faces, they knew that their love story, a tale of trials and triumphs, was far from over. Years later, as they sat on their porch swing, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange, pink, and purple, Liam and Sarah marveled at the tapestry of their life together. Wrinkles etched the corners of their eyes, testaments to a life well lived, a love that had weathered the tests of time.
"We made it, Sarah. We made it through the storms and came out stronger on the other side."
We did, Liam. And I wouldn't trade a single moment of our journey, even the difficult ones, because they brought us to where we are today.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the porch, they sat in comfortable silence, their hearts overflowing with gratitude for the gift of each other, for the love that had enriched their lives in countless ways. Their love story, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, love could conquer all.